Hey everyone, I am here today with well, it's a little more than a first impressions, but I wouldn't really call it a long-term review at all, but it is a look at the Civivi Qubit, which is a pretty new release by Civivi. The first I saw of it was a little over a month ago. I saw it on one of the knife channels. I don't recall which one. I think it might have been Neve's Knives, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it looked pretty cool. Right off the bat, it had two big things that I look for in an everyday carry knife. The first was it had a button lock, which isn't something a knife has to have, but I really like button lock knives. The second is that it has a blade that's 2.98 inches. Unfortunately, for concealed carry where I live, a blade cannot be more than 3 inches. So there aren't too many times where I can open carry a knife. So having something over 3 inches is nice for my collection and to enjoy certain times, but it's not something I can enjoy and use on a daily basis. So 1 to 3 inches is usually best. So this one has a 2.98-inch blade and I believe it's a 4.2-inch handle. So it's pretty nice the way I like it. So you get something that's a little over 4 inches, which is nice to get a grip on, and then you get that 2.98-inch blade, which is again about as long as I can get without having any legal problems. So let's take a look at it. These come in green with a Damascus blade, red with a black blade, and then we have the blue one with just kind of the regular polished blade, which I like quite a bit. So as I told you before, this has a 4.2-inch handle, and it has a reversible pocket clip, which is pretty nice if you're a lefty. And there you can see, and as you might have figured from the other side, it is recessed, which is a very nice thing. I know some people don't like the Civivi clips, but I gotta tell you, they get in and out of my pocket very quickly and easily. I do like them. Some complain about this, they call it a duckbill, but I actually like the clips. And it's a very deep carry, as you can tell. So deep carry, recessed, and I like the opening of the clip. So to me, this is a-okay. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, the big thing with this one is it's aluminum. If you buy Civivi, you'll know that usually they have G10 or micarta. Haven't really seen them come out with aluminum, but this one is aluminum, which I thought was pretty cool. The other thing here is that it has a bottle cap opener. Now, that's a pretty cool extra to put on. The only thing I don't like about it is that it has this really nice aluminum finish. I'm not sure if it's anodized or just kind of painted on or what, but I really like the color, and I really wouldn't want to wreck it by trying to open a bottle. So to be honest with you, I'd probably just use a twist cap, not to chance ruining it at all. So let's do a little flick here. Now the blade. I like the blade. Besides the length of the blade and that kind of little semi-choil we have here, right at the end, I really like that it's a pretty wide blade. It's actually a little over an inch. As you can tell now, 2 lines on this mat is 1 inch. And if you put it over this way, from here to here, the widest points, it's about maybe 1.3 inches, which is pretty cool. It's also a very narrow blade. It's 0.1 inches. Not focusing too well, but it's 0.1 inches. And this is a 14C28N steel, which is basically good enough for just about any of your needs. It came super sharp right out of the box. Now, a couple of things about this. I did see another review which complained that when they pressed the button, if they pressed it too much, the knife wouldn't fully fall, kind of like that whole guillotine thing. And the person complained that it's not a big deal because you can just kind of adjust your carry for it. And I got to be honest with you, that's kind of how I believe. More often than not, it kind of falls just like a guillotine. Sometimes it hangs up a little bit, but that's kind of reliant on the pressure that you put on the button. Personally, I can live with that. This is a $65 knife. Yeah, it's basically available right now at all the well-known online knife shops like Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Blade HQ, Knife Center, and so on and so forth. Also available at Amazon. I will put one of my affiliate links in the box if you want to check it out. It's about $65, and it's pretty cool. Now, in a future video, I'm going to do a video on the Altus, because they've come out with an Altus in aluminum, which is pretty cool. And I noticed that the Altus handles a little bit differently. Not better, not worse, just a little differently. And I also noticed that, I like you can flick this. I also noticed that when it closes, okay, that didn't work too well then. It kind of makes a, like, there you go. It kind of makes like a weird noise when it closes. And it's a stupid thing. I admit, it's a really stupid thing to notice, but I just noticed. And then I had the two knives with me, and then I realized why it sounds different. Again, not better, not worse, just different. And it's because there's no liner there. And I was telling my wife that, and I said, you know what? There's no liner inside there, because if you think about it, you don't need a liner with this because it has aluminum scales. You know, if you're going to make your knife with scales that are out of, thin G10 or, say, linen micarta, that's not going to hold up to a lot of stress. I mean, think about like micarta. What is it really? It's some type of fabric or material that's been soaked in resin. So if there's no support there, it could very easily crack and you cut your hand. So that's why you'd have steel liner locks or some type of aluminum liner locks, and then you'd put the scales on top of that. Now with the Altus, that's what it does. It puts the aluminum scales on top of the liner locks. I'm sorry, the liners under it. But if you think about it, that's an older style that's been updated. The Qubit is a new style. This is the first iteration of the Qubit. So it was designed from the ground up not to have liner locks. Now, some might say, well, that's to save money. I don't know. Maybe it is to save money. But I will tell you one other positive of it is the weight comparison. With the Altus, it is 3.3 ounces. So with the aluminum scales and the steel liners, weighs 3.3 ounces. For a 2.99-inch knife, it's really not bad at all. Usually people would want around an ounce per inch of blade length. It's not bad at all, but this one is only like 2.8 ounces. So you're getting a really, kind of a really wide blade that's about 1.3 inches wide. It has a thin blade stock at 0.10 inches. And then it weighs just like 2.78 or 2.8 inches, 8 ounces. So it's pretty light. You kind of don't really notice you have it. It's amazing how much just a half an ounce makes a difference. It might not to, your typical person, but if you're used to having knives, and especially if you go back and forth to handling certain knives, of a certain size and style to this one, it's definitely noticeable that it's lighter. At first, I didn't really notice when I picked it up, but then when you go to open up another knife of a similar style, then you're like, hey, this is light. And then when I checked it out, I noticed that it really was. So if you're the kind of person who, likes to go backpacking or something, and your theory is that, every ounces matter because ounces turn into pounds, well, this is a knife you might want to take with you because you're probably chopping maybe a half an ounce to an ounce off your overall weight. Not a lot in and of itself, but if you're going to be carrying multiple things, it's a pretty good thing. Plus, if you're clipping it inside your pants pocket and you carry a lot of other stuff with you, like, I don't know, maybe a flashlight, a firearm, multi-tool, it's a little less weight that's helping gravity. You feel like you're pulling your pants down or something, because let's face it, you put enough stuff in your pockets or on your belt, you got to kind of pull them up every now and then. You know how it is. So anyway, this is the Civivi Qubit, pretty new release. I will put that link in the description box, and I think it is definitely worth taking a look at. So I'll just show you a little bit of a close-up before I sign off here. But very, very cool knife. I've had this for a little over a week. I've been using it almost daily. I've been kind of switching with this and the Altus aluminum, but I got to tell you, I really like it a lot. Haven't done anything, crazy with it. Can't tell you I've been on, on some survivalist rampage in the woods or anything, but I have been doing my fair share of cutting packages and various things here and there, the everyday things of life. So definitely very cool. I really do like that wide blade profile. And for those of you who said, oh, 14C28N, please, it's good enough. And then we have the dual thumb studs here, and pretty nice. Good value from Civivi, once again. All right, guys, talk to you later.